good evening and a warm welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Hishain Ali and let's have a look at the headlines first. The Cabinet of Ministers approves to take necessary steps to increase the daily wage of estate workers to ₹1,000. Sri Lanka's legal system should be updated effectively and promptly at an affordable cost, Justice Minister says. News in detail. The Cabinet of yesterday had approved to implement the minimum daily wage of ₹1,000 for plantation workers through the wages boards. Cabinet spokesperson Minister Kehriya Rambukwala this morning said the government hopes that the estate owners will be supportive with the decision. Questioned by media, he also added that in any case of backtracking by the employers, the government will not hesitate to look for alternative ways of making a reality of their budget proposal.
There are so many different ways of handling this situation. It is a fact, as you know, that this has been discussed over years. And it is nothing but fair to look at the minimum wages as a necessity under the present circumstances and the economic conditions of the country. Now, having read that out very clearly, government decided at the time of the budget, and as the finance minister, Honourable the Prime Minister himself announced that and pronounced in the Parliament that the ₹1,000 wage hike is to be considered seriously and then that will be implemented. Now, having said that, we are also looking at discussing the matter with the owners. But if it comes to a crunch where the owners are backtracking and it's not supportive of this, then we will have to look at other avenues of providing that ₹1,000. And that is what the Cabinet paper says, and that is what the Cabinet discussed yesterday, that we will look at the possibility of working out with the wages board. If the owners are not willing to comply with the statement, with the commitment that the Prime Minister made as a Minister of Finance in the Parliament.
Minister of Justice Ali Sabri said that it is the national duty of all stakeholders in Sri Lanka's legal system to reform the system by updating it effectively and promptly at an affordable cost. He made this observation speaking at an event held in Alutkade for laying of the foundation of the stone for the new proposed House of Justice yesterday.
මෑතකදී කරන ලද සමීක්ෂණයකට අනුව අපරාධ නඩුවක් මහාධිකරණයේ විභාග කිරීමට පමණක් වසර 9 මාරක් ගතවන අතර 2019 වසරේ සංඛ්‍යාලාකන අනුව නඩු 5000ක් පමණ පවරා අවුරුදු 20කට පසුවත් දිසා අධිකරණයේ තාමත් නොවිසඳී පවතී. මෙය කිසිසේත්ම සෑහීමට පත්විය හැකි තත්වයක් නොවේ. ලෝකයේ දියුණු රටවල් වල ජනතාව මිලියනයකට විනිශ්චයකාරවරු 100කට අධික ප්‍රමාණයක් සිටියේදී මධ්‍යම ආර්ථිකයක් හිමි තායිලන්තය හා මැලේසියාවෙනි රටවල් වල මිලියනයකට විනිශ්චයකාරවරුන් 65ක් පමණ සිටියේදී ඉන්දියාවේ පලා මිලියනයකට විනිශ්චයකාරවරුන් 20ක් සිටියේදී ලංකාවේ ජනතාව මිලියනයකට අපට සිටින්නේ විනිශ්චයකාරවරුන් 15 දෙනෙක් පමණකි.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa stated that he believes the judicial courts should become a refuge for people searching for the justice and fairness from the law. Prime Minister Rajapaksa expressed these views yesterday after laying the foundation stone for the construction of the new court complex, Adhikarana Piasa, under the theme of the vision of prosperity to pride of justice. The new court complex, which will replace the court buildings in Hofstra built during the colonial era, will become the biggest building complex of the judiciary. The new complex spread in a land extent of 6 acres and will be completed in 4 stages in 3 years. The total estimated cost of the project will be ₹16.5 billion. In the Adhikarana Piasa complex, 12 magistrate courts, 8 high courts and 4 commercial high courts, as well as 10 district courts, 10 official residences for judges and 110 official residences for court staff are included. Addressing the gathering, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa said the judiciary is a basic requirement of a country and what the people want is fulfillment of the reforms presented by them. The Prime Minister also said the government has initiated building the national interest for one country, one law and pointed out that in order to avoid legal delays and resolve disputes in an efficient manner, all of us, the judiciary lawyers and the public, must step out of obsolete methods and change attitudes. The Prime Minister pointed out that instead of taking the existing civil disputes to court, they should be resolved within the arbitration boards. Stay tuned for more news right after this commercial break. back after the break. Sri Lanka's central bank has requested licensed commercial banks to refrain from entering into forward contracts of foreign exchange for a period of 3 months with immediate effect. The directive has been issued in terms of the powers conferred the Banking Act No. 30 of 1988 as amended in view of the need to avoid excess volatility in the foreign exchange market. Previously, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka on the 13th of May last year decided to restrict certain discretionary payments of licensed banks such as declaring cash dividends and repatriation of profits, engaging in share buybacks, increasing management allowances and payments to the Board of Directors until 31st December 2020 with a view to strengthening the liquidity and capital positions of licensed banks under exceptional circumstances amidst COVID-19 pandemic. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka reassessed the restrictions and on the 19th of January 2021 permitted licensed banks to pay cash dividends and repatriate profits after completion of the audit of the financial statements for the year 2020. When deciding payment of cash dividends and repatriation of profits for the year 2020, licensed banks are expected to consider assets growth, business expansion and the impact from COVID-19 pandemic. Further, licensed banks were required to refrain from engaging in share buybacks and increasing non-essential expenditure while exercising extreme due diligence and prudence when incurring capital expenditure until 30th June 2021. Minister of Mass Media Kelly Rambukwala asserts that no final decision has been made regarding the East Container Terminal of the Colombo port. He stated this answering to a question posed by a journalist during the Cabinet media briefing held this morning at the Government Information Department. Minister of Mass Media Kelly Rambukwala said that various debates and discussions regarding this matter are taking place and the Cabinet has not taken any decision on this. However, he added that if it was invested in the stock market, only 49% would be invested and balance 51% will always be kept with the government. Cabinet spokesperson pointed out that any of this is not the final decision and a final decision on the matter will come to light after further discussions on a flexible policy will be followed by the government while considering the geopolitical concerns of the country. Cabinet spokesman Minister Rambukwala also said that the government has not taken any decision to increase the fuel prices. The Kandy district parliamentarians said that the so many topics were discussed at the meeting of the cabinet ministers, which was headed by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa last evening, but is only to reveal the decisions taken by the cabinet of ministers. Fitch Ratings has revised the national long-term ratings of Sri Lankan financial institutions following the recalibration of the agency's Sri Lankan National Rating Scale. The recalibration is to reflect changes in the relative creditworthiness among Sri Lankan issuers following Fitch's downgrade of the sovereign rating to CCC from B- negative on the 27th of November last year. Fitch typically does not assign outlooks or apply modifiers to sovereigns with a rating of CCC or below. Revision ratings have been used to modify ratings for reasons that are not related to credit quality in order to reflect changes in the national rating scale driven purely by the recalibration of the national ratings correspondence table. National scale ratings are risk ranking of issuers in a particular market designed to help local investors differentiate risk. Sri Lanka's national scale ratings are denoted by the unique identifier LKA and the Fitch add this identifier to reflect the unique nature of the Sri Lankan national scale. National scales are not comparable with Fitch's international rating scales or with other countries' national rating scales. The national ratings of the Sri Lankan financial institution consider their creditworthiness relative to other issuers in the country. The recalibration of the Sri Lankan National Rating Scale has resulted in the revision of the national long-term ratings of the Sri Lankan financial institutions. At the same time, Fitch has downgraded the national ratings of Bank of Ceylon and People's Bank to AA- from AA+. However, the Fitch also adds that the outlook is stable. Stay tuned for stock updates. Welcome back after the break. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a mixed note today. The all share price index dropped minus 28.53 points to close at 8,665.82, and the S&P SL20 gained 3.23 points to close at 3,504.05. The turnover was 11.4 billion rupees and over 828 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. And that's all news for today. See you tomorrow with State of Business. Until then, take care and good night.